Hey everyone! How are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing day because I have something truly fascinating for you. You've probably heard about the Mona Lisa, right? That small painting that almost everyone in the world recognizes. But here's the big question, why is it so famous? Why do millions of people talk about it? And do you know how much it's worth? Well, let me tell you something incredible. The Mona Lisa is literally priceless. Yes, you heard that correctly. No amount of money in the world can truly buy it. But why? What makes this painting so special? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. And here's the best part. While discovering this mystery, you'll also improve your English listening and speaking skills. So sit back, relax, and let's begin this amazing journey together. To understand the story, we need to travel back more than 500 years to the year 1503. At that time, there lived a man named Leonardo da Vinci, and believe me, this man wasn't just intelligent, he was an extraordinary genius. Leonardo da Vinci was the kind of genius people only read about in history books. He wasn't simply a painter, not at all. He was an engineer, a scientist, an architect, a sculptor, and even a cartographer, which means someone who makes maps. His curiosity had no limits. He studied astronomy and the stars. He explored human anatomy and learned about the human body. He researched plants, known as botany, and even studied fossils, which is called paleontology. Honestly, it's hard to imagine how one person could know so much. Leonardo seemed capable of doing almost everything. Now, let's talk about the masterpiece that made him one of the most famous artists in history, the Mona Lisa. Did you know that Leonardo da Vinci spent nearly 14 years working on this painting? 14 years! Just imagine that. Most people would never spend that much time on a single piece of art. And here's something even more unbelievable. Experts believe that he spent around 12 years perfecting one specific detail, her lips. Yes, that's right. 12 whole years just working on her smile. But why did it take so long? Well, the smile of the Mona Lisa is unlike any other. It's mysterious. It's not clearly happy, and it's not completely sad either. Sometimes she seems to be smiling gently, while at other times she looks as if she's hiding a secret. What's even more fascinating is that her expression appears to change depending on the angle from which you look at her. Isn't that incredible? Leonardo was obsessed with perfection. He wanted the painting to look alive. That's why he paid attention to every tiny detail, her eyes, her hair, her skin, and especially her lips. Many people say her smile feels almost magical because no one can fully explain it. Even after hundreds of years, it remains one of the greatest mysteries in the world of art. But wait, there's another mystery. Who exactly was the Mona Lisa? The truth is, nobody knows with complete certainty. Some historians believe she was a real woman named Lisa Gherardini, the wife of a wealthy merchant. Others think she might have been someone Leonardo imagined, and here's a theory that sounds almost unbelievable. Some people believe that the Mona Lisa might actually be a self-portrait of Leonardo da Vinci himself, painted as a woman. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Now let me share some fascinating details about this masterpiece. First, let's talk about her eyes. Have you ever noticed that her eyes seem to follow you wherever you go? No matter where you stand, it almost feels as if she's watching you. A little creepy? Maybe amazing? Absolutely. Second, take a close look at the background. The landscape behind her is mysterious too. It doesn't represent any real place, yet it looks like a dreamlike world filled with winding roads and magical scenery. And finally, there's that famous smile. Is she happy? Is she sad? Or is she hiding some secret? Nobody really knows. And that's exactly why people often call it the most mysterious smile in the world. But the mysteries surrounding the Mona Lisa don't end there. One of the biggest questions people have asked for centuries is this. Why is the Mona Lisa in France and not in Italy? After all, Leonardo da Vinci was Italian. So why didn't his masterpiece stay in his homeland? Well, here's the story. During the final years of his life, Leonardo da Vinci moved to France. He was invited by King Francis I, who deeply admired his talent and wanted the great artist to become part of the French royal court. The king provided Leonardo with a beautiful home near the Loire Valley, where he spent the last years of his life. And when Leonardo passed away in 1519, the Mona Lisa remained in France. The French royal family kept the painting, and years later it became part of the Louvre Museum in Paris, where it still attracts millions of visitors every year. But now, let's move to one of the most dramatic chapters in the history of the Mona Lisa. Believe it or not, the painting was once stolen. Yes, you heard that correctly. And surprisingly, this theft played a huge role in making the Mona Lisa world famous. The incident happened in 1911, more than 100 years ago. At that time, the Mona Lisa was respected and admired, but it wasn't considered the most famous painting on Earth. It was simply one masterpiece among many others displayed in the Louvre. So, who stole it? The thief was a man named Vincenzo Peruggia. He was an Italian handyman who had worked inside the Louvre Museum. Peruggia believed that the Mona Lisa rightfully belonged to Italy. He thought the French had unfairly taken the painting and wanted to return it to his homeland. Driven by this belief, he planned one of the most unbelievable art thefts in history. One day, after the museum had closed, Peruggia hid inside the building. The next morning, he entered the room where the Mona Lisa was displayed. He carefully removed the painting from the wall, hid it under his coat, and simply walked out. No alarms, no dramatic chase, no guards running after him. Just like that, one of the world's greatest treasures disappeared. When the news broke, people were shocked. Newspapers around the world published headlines about the missing masterpiece. Everyone wanted to know what had happened, and suddenly, people who had never paid much attention to the painting became fascinated by it. In fact, something even stranger happened. Thousands of visitors came to the Louvre not to see the painting, but to see the empty space where it had once hung. Can you imagine that? People were gathering to look at a blank wall. That's how powerful the mystery had become. For 2 long years, nobody knew where the Mona Lisa was. Rumors spread everywhere. Some famous personalities were even suspected of stealing it. One of those names was the legendary artist Pablo Picasso. Yes, that's true. For a while, even Picasso was questioned by the police, but in 1913, the mystery finally came to an end. Vincenzo. Peruggia tried to sell the painting to an art dealer in Italy. The dealer quickly realized that it was the original Mona Lisa and immediately contacted the authorities. Peruggia was arrested, and the masterpiece was safely returned to France. And here's the fascinating truth. Before the theft, the Mona Lisa was admired mostly by art lovers. But after the theft, everything changed. The story became so dramatic and mysterious that newspapers all over the world kept talking about it for months. People became obsessed with the painting. They wanted to know about her smile. They wanted to know about her history. They wanted to understand why this masterpiece was so special. And when the Mona Lisa finally returned to the Louvre, millions of people came to see it. Since then, it has become one of the most visited and most recognizable paintings in human history. Now, let's talk about something equally incredible. How much is the Mona Lisa worth? Back in 1962, the painting was insured for $100 million, and when adjusted for inflation, that amount would be worth more than $900 million today. But the truth is, experts consider the Mona Lisa priceless. No billionaire, no king, and no amount of money could truly buy it, because the Mona Lisa is much more than a painting. It is a piece of human history itself. And after the famous theft, the Louvre Museum decided to protect it more carefully than ever before. Today, the Mona Lisa is kept inside a special case made of bulletproof glass. This protective enclosure controls temperature and humidity to ensure that the masterpiece remains safe for future generations. And perhaps that's what makes the Mona Lisa so extraordinary. It's not just the mysterious smile, it's not just the incredible details, it's the stories behind the painting, the genius who created it, the mystery surrounding the woman herself, and the dramatic theft that transformed it into one of the most famous works of art the world has ever known. Now that we've explored the genius of Leonardo da Vinci and the dramatic theft that made the Mona Lisa famous, it's time to dive even deeper into the secrets hidden inside this incredible masterpiece. Because believe it or not, the Mona Lisa is much more than just a beautiful painting. In fact, some of the mysteries surrounding it continue to amaze experts even today. So get ready, because the next few facts might completely blow your mind. Have you ever looked at a picture and felt as if the eyes were following you? Well, that's exactly what many people experience when they stand in front of the Mona Lisa. No matter where you move, her eyes seem to follow you around the room. But how is that possible? Did Leonardo create some kind of magic? Not really. The answer lies in a brilliant technique called sfumato. This Italian word means soft or smoky. Leonardo blended colors so smoothly that there are almost no visible lines between light and shadow. Because of this, her face appears incredibly lifelike. Her eyes seem alive, and that's why many visitors feel as though she's quietly watching them. Some people even joke that the Mona Lisa knows all your secrets. Sounds a little creepy, doesn't it? But that's part of what makes her so fascinating. And then, of course, there is her famous smile. Perhaps the most mysterious smile in history. What's amazing is that her expression seems to change depending on how you feel. If you're happy, her smile may appear warm and cheerful. But if you're feeling sad or thoughtful, she might seem calm or even melancholic. It's almost as if the painting reflects your own emotions. How did Leonardo create such an incredible illusion? The answer once again lies in his mastery of light and shadow. He carefully blended different tones so perfectly that our brains interpret her expression differently depending on how we observe her. Scientists and art historians often refer to this phenomenon as the Mona Lisa effect. Now, let's take a closer look at the background behind her. At first glance, it may look like a simple landscape, but the more you study it, the stranger it becomes. The scene is filled with winding roads, distant mountains, bridges, and rivers that seem almost dreamlike. What's interesting is that the landscape doesn't represent any known place on Earth. In fact, many experts believe it was created entirely from Leonardo's imagination. But here's something even more fascinating. If you carefully compare both sides of the background, you'll notice that they don't perfectly match. The left side appears lower than the right side. This small difference creates a subtle illusion that adds even more mystery to the painting. Some researchers believe the uneven landscape symbolizes the dual nature of life itself: joy and sadness, reality and dreams, hope and uncertainty. And perhaps that's one reason why the Mona Lisa feels so deeply human. But the surprises don't stop there. Over the years, scientists have used advanced technology, including X-rays and infrared cameras, to study the painting in extraordinary detail, and what they discovered was absolutely incredible. First, they found evidence that Leonardo made many changes while creating the masterpiece. Beneath the surface, hidden layers reveal earlier versions of the painting. In fact, experts believe that her smile originally looked slightly different. It's almost like seeing Leonardo's thoughts preserved beneath the paint. Second, some researchers claim they discovered tiny symbols and letters hidden inside her eyes. These markings are so small that they cannot be seen with the naked eye. Some people believe they represent Leonardo's initials. Others think they could be secret messages or personal codes left by the artist. Although no one knows for sure, the mystery continues to fascinate historians around the world. And here's another detail that many people notice immediately. The Mona Lisa appears to have no eyebrows or eyelashes. Have you ever wondered why? Some experts believe Leonardo intentionally left them out to create a timeless appearance. Others think the eyebrows may have faded over the centuries due to cleaning and restoration. Either way, this unusual feature only adds to the mystery. But if you think being stolen was the toughest challenge in the painting's history, think again. The Mona Lisa has survived revolutions, wars, and even attacks. During the French Revolution, it was moved to a secure location to protect it from angry crowds. Centuries later, during World War II, museum officials secretly transported the painting to different hiding places to keep it safe from the Nazis. And that's not all. In 1956, a visitor threw a rock at the painting, causing damage to a small section. On another occasion, someone attempted to vandalize it. Thankfully, protective measures prevented serious harm. These incidents convinced experts that the masterpiece needed the highest level of protection. That's why today the Mona Lisa is displayed behind specially designed bulletproof glass. The glass not only protects it from attacks, but also controls temperature and humidity to preserve the painting for generations to come. More than 500 years after Leonardo painted her, the Mona Lisa continues to survive. And perhaps that's what makes this masterpiece so extraordinary. She's not simply a painting. She's a survivor, a mystery, and a timeless symbol of human creativity. But the mysteries surrounding the Mona Lisa don't stop there. Over the centuries, people have come up with some truly unbelievable theories about this masterpiece. And honestly, some of them sound like something straight out of a movie. So let's take a look at some of the craziest ideas ever connected to the Mona Lisa. First, there's one theory that has fascinated experts for years. Some researchers believe that the Mona Lisa might actually be a self-portrait of Leonardo da Vinci himself. Yes, you heard that right. According to this theory, Leonardo may have painted himself in disguise as a woman. At first, that sounds impossible, but when scientists compared Leonardo's facial features with those of the Mona Lisa, they found some surprising similarities. The shape of the eyes, the structure of the nose, even certain proportions of the face appeared remarkably similar. Could it be that Leonardo wanted to express both masculine and feminine qualities through his art? Nobody knows for sure. But that's exactly what keeps the mystery alive. Another question that continues to puzzle historians is this: who was the woman in the painting? Most experts agree that she was Lisa Gherardini, the wife of a wealthy merchant from Florence. In fact, many people believe that her name gave birth to the title Mona Lisa. But not everyone agrees. Some theories suggest she was a noblewoman. Others claim she represented an ideal image of beauty, and a few researchers even believe that she never existed at all. According to them, the Mona Lisa could have been a completely imaginary creation born from Leonardo's extraordinary imagination. Imagine that. One of the most famous faces in history might belong to someone who never actually existed. But perhaps the most mysterious theories involve hidden messages. Many people believe that Leonardo da Vinci secretly placed symbols and codes inside the painting. Researchers have studied her eyes, her clothing, and even the background in search of clues. Some claim that tiny letters and numbers can be found hidden within the artwork. Others believe the landscape contains symbolic meanings related to science, religion, or Leonardo's inventions. Of course, none of these theories have been proven, but they continue to spark debates among historians and art lovers around the world. And maybe that's part of the magic. The Mona Lisa always leaves us with more questions than answers. Now here's something interesting. Think about this for a moment. The painting is more than 500 years old, yet somehow it still feels modern. Why is that? Well, one reason is that her expression captures emotions that everyone understands. No matter where you come from or what language you speak, you can connect with her face. Some people see happiness, others see sadness, and some simply see mystery. That's what makes the Mona Lisa so universal. She speaks to people without saying a single word. Another reason is Leonardo's incredible genius. He was centuries ahead of his time. He combined science, mathematics, and art in ways that no one had ever done before. For Leonardo, painting wasn't just about creating something beautiful. It was about understanding life itself. And that's exactly what makes the Mona Lisa much more than a painting. It's a masterpiece of human achievement. But there's another reason why the Mona Lisa remains so famous. She has become a part of modern culture. Over the years, her image has appeared almost everywhere. She has inspired songs, movies, television shows, cartoons, books, and advertisements. Famous musicians like Nat King Cole and Beyoncé have even referenced the Mona Lisa in their work. Artists around the world have recreated her face using everything from Lego bricks to coffee foam. And in today's digital world, she has become the subject of countless memes and funny internet posts. It's amazing to think that a painting created over 5 centuries ago is still influencing modern entertainment. Very few works of art have achieved that kind of impact, and perhaps that's why people simply can't stop talking about her, because the Mona Lisa is more than colors on a piece of wood. She's a story, a mystery, a symbol, and a connection between the past and the present. Every generation discovers something new about her, and every generation falls under her spell once again. But after all these years, one question still remains. What is the real secret behind the Mona Lisa? Maybe it's her smile. Maybe it's the identity of the woman. Maybe it's Leonardo's genius, or perhaps the greatest mystery is the fact that, even after 500 years, she still has the power to amaze the world. And honestly, that might be the most incredible mystery of all. After exploring the mysteries, the hidden secrets, and the incredible journey of the Mona Lisa, one question still remains. What is it that truly makes this painting so special? Is it the mysterious smile? The identity of the woman? The dramatic theft that shocked the world? Or the genius of the man who created it? Perhaps the answer is all of these things combined, because the Mona Lisa is much more than a painting hanging inside a museum. It is a symbol of creativity, imagination, and the endless possibilities of the human mind, and at the center of this extraordinary story stands one remarkable man, Leonardo da Vinci, a man whose curiosity knew no limits. He wasn't just a painter, he was a scientist. An inventor, an engineer, an architect, and a thinker far ahead of his time. Leonardo believed that learning never ends. He spent his entire life asking questions, exploring ideas, and trying to understand the world around him. And maybe that's one of the greatest lessons we can learn from him. Never stop being curious. Never stop learning, because knowledge and creativity have no boundaries. Another lesson hidden inside the story of the Mona Lisa is the power of patience. Think about it. Leonardo spent 14 years perfecting this masterpiece, and according to many experts, nearly 12 of those years were devoted to refining one of its most famous features, her smile. Can you imagine that level of dedication? In today's world, everyone wants quick results. People want success overnight. But the Mona Lisa reminds us that truly great things take time. Success isn't built in a day. Masterpieces are created through patience, passion, and countless hours of hard work. And perhaps that's why the Mona Lisa continues to inspire millions of people around the world, because it represents something bigger than art. It represents perseverance, it represents excellence, and it represents the idea that when people dedicate themselves to something they love, extraordinary things become possible. What's even more amazing is that Leonardo da Vinci never lived long enough to see how famous his masterpiece would become. He never knew that. Centuries later, millions of people would travel from every corner of the world just to spend a few seconds looking at his work. He never imagined that his painting would survive wars, revolutions, thefts, and attacks, or that it would become one of the most recognized images in human history. Yet his passion changed the world forever, and that's a powerful reminder for all of us. Sometimes, the work we do today can inspire generations we may never meet. That's the true power of creativity. And speaking of inspiration, here's something worth thinking about. Every one of us has something unique to offer. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's teaching, writing, science, or helping others. Whatever your passion is, it has the potential to make a difference. Leonardo da Vinci didn't create the Mona Lisa because he wanted fame or fortune. He created it because he loved his craft, because he believed in excellence, because he wanted to create something meaningful, and in doing so, he left behind a legacy that has lasted for more than 500 years. So perhaps the real message of the Mona Lisa is this: dream big, stay curious, be patient, and never stop improving yourself. Because great achievements are built one step at a time. And who knows, maybe something you create today could inspire people for generations to come. The Mona Lisa is more than a masterpiece. She is a story, a mystery, a symbol of human creativity, and a reminder of what people can accomplish when talent meets passion and perseverance. And now, before we finish, I want to leave you with one final question. What is your version of the Mona Lisa? What dream are you working toward? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Because just like Leonardo da Vinci, every one of us has the ability to create something meaningful, something that can touch lives, something that can inspire others, and perhaps something that can stand the test of time. And that brings us to the end of this incredible journey, through the mystery of the Mona Lisa. I hope you enjoyed every moment and discovered something new along the way. Remember, the Mona Lisa isn't just a painting. She's proof that curiosity, dedication, and creativity can change the world. Thank you so much for joining me on this amazing adventure. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, never stop dreaming, because your masterpiece might still be waiting to be created. And until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. See you in the next adventure.